Garage Talk. As always, I'm Conrad. Let's go.
Okay, time to rock and roll. Special guest tonight, Conrad.
Yes, today in the garage, we have with us the Republican mayor of Marion, Indiana, Ronald Douglas Morrell Jr. Everybody, give a round of applause. Yeah.
I like that. You call me by my full government name, like my mama's name. I like it, man.
Well, I just
You're not in trouble.
Well, man, I just wanted to pay respect because this is a very I know what it's like to be in an election, man. So give everybody some of your background, man.
Man, so I'm born and raised in Marion, Indiana. Been here all my life, so all 30 years. Mm-hmm. I have a wife, 2 kids, 2 daughters. And yeah, man, we just love Marion, Indiana. I mean, I grew up, most people don't know this, I grew up playing drums in church. So I actually got my degree from Indiana Wesleyan in music. Yeah, so I was a musician for the most of my life. And just like every other Indiana kid, I grew up playing basketball too. You know what I mean? So that's a part of it. Yeah, so that's who I am, man. If I was to sum how I was raised and who I am now, it's just based off of faith, family, and hard work. That's who I am. You know?
I like that.
Yeah, man. That's who I am, and that's what I kind of build my base around for everything I do.
Well, and you mentioned before, God's called you to destroy walls.
Yeah, man.
And build bridges.
Yeah, and I think even in this now that I've went into this political arena, man, there's a lot of walls I've already destroyed in this. Like, this is one of the record years of crossover votes from Democrats to Republicans. So where people were voting for, me as a person, as a not even necessarily just attached to party things. And another thing that by the time this podcast comes out to be public is I'm going to the State House, and I'll be acknowledged by the Indiana Black Caucus for being mayor. So now what's interesting about this, though, that's usually exclusively for Democrats. They never.
Wow.
Not even once ever did they do anything for Republicans.
Really?
This would be the first time ever, man. So not only on the local level are we destroying some walls, but it's happening on the state level as well, man. So it's very encouraging, because politics can be very divisive at times. And I've been very encouraged to see that this campaign and my short time in office has been very unifying.
Awesome.
And that's
he's very well spoken. He came here and he had a message, Teddy, and I like it. I like the message, man.
Well, just like you mentioned before, you said at an early age that you felt called into the ministry.
Yeah. So
business and servant leadership.
Yeah,
you have to be a servant.
Yeah, that's the thing about really all leadership is a type of servant.
Yes.
Right. And I think when people get lost in the sauce of it is when they forget that they're serving people. No matter if you're leading your own company, leading the church, leading a city, or leading the United States. What you're doing is serving people, and as long as you remember that, I think you'll be okay. And when you forget it, that's when you see people start doing crazy stuff. So.
Yeah, because me and Ted we've spent our time being volunteers, and when you're a volunteer, you pour your heart and soul. And I don't care what anybody says, Ted. You can vouch for this. Volunteering is good for the soul, even when you do it, especially when you do it for the youth in the community.
Yeah.
Yep. Volunteering, no matter what, I guess, industry you volunteer in, it help. You know, you're helping somebody. I think in our society today, we get so self-centered that we forget, that the real meaning of all this, man, how can you help your neighbor? How can you do what's best for everyone around you? So, man, those are my focuses, man. I always try to stay locked in, and then one way, if I ever get off track, my wife is always there to try to reel me back in.
Isn't it funny how they do that?
Man, they're good at it too.
Yeah. And they always know which way to turn.
Yep.
But now, what's interesting, it says, you're a minister, you're an entrepreneur, community leader, but you're also a motivational speaker.
Yeah, man. So I'm actually, I'll actually be headed to a local, a regional university tomorrow, Huntington University, and doing a speaking for them in front of all their students.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I get booked for, the bookings are picking up now, but I get booked for various things like that. It's usually geared towards youth. So 20 and under is really where I get booked the most. But I mean, yeah, any arena that if anyone wants to call me for, I'd love to come and do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Man.
So, I know that you used to help out with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep. So I used to run the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Executive director.
Yep.
Teddy's got some.
And yeah, because your growth, your budget in 2
Yeah.
years went up to $500,000.
Yeah, man. So when I took over the organization, for those who are listening who are from Grant County, know that the organization had been through some turmoil.
Yes.
You know, and so I took over in 2021 in September, and I walked in. I had one employee, was the front desk person, and we had 7 kids. So by the time I left, we had 10 employees, 90 kids, and a budget of $500,000. And it all started, man. It's just you got to be genuine in what you want to do, right? So people,
Yes.
I think the people were able to see that I was genuine about wanting to serve the kids, and then they were bought into the vision and they started supporting, man. And then one of the pivotal changes for us was Marion Community Schools agreed to have the buses drop the kids off directly after school to the facility, and that was like one of the final kicks to get us going.
Right, and that's and what a lot of people don't understand, you know, it's Grant County.
Yes.
It's not just
It's not just Marion.
Yeah.
And that's one of the messages that I tried to push as I was there, but for the longest time, it always was conveyed as the Marion Boys and Girls Club. But
Right.
it's always supposed to have been the Grant County Boys and Girls Club. Yep. So we had 90 kids, and most of them were from Marion. So really, we could have had probably 200 kids, 300 kids if we would have, if my tenure would have been longer to be able to reach out to all the county schools. Yep.
And I can remember the old Boys and Girls Club.
Down on Clark Street.
Oh, you talk
remember.
about Sweat House.
Oh man, yeah. So I actually I got to play basketball in there like 2 years right before the new one was built, and I remember that the roof would leak and they used to have a trash can in the middle of the floor and you had to like go around it. Yeah, man, it's a wild time. Man. Yeah.
The opposing team always had an extra defender.
Yeah.
So, building from that to political office, what piqued your interest in politics, and especially throwing your hat in as big of a ring as the mayor
Yeah.
ring?
Really, I mean, it's a couple things, but one that I'll share today is the kids really propelled me, man. So when I first started at the club, at that time when I had 7 to 10 kids, I used to do all the classes myself, and I asked them, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they all kind of looked at each other and they raised their hand and said that they want to go to the NBA. Which, I mean, you know, come on, Marion, this area is basketball, so that's like the traditional answer for, especially for the urban community. Then I said, okay, you know, I didn't want to kill anyone's dream, so I said, if that's what's your plan B, just in case if that doesn't work. And this is where it kind of got disturbing. So they same unanimously raised their hand. I said, well, we're going to sell drugs. So in their mind, they're either going to go to the NBA or they're going to go right to the streets, and that's the only 2 options that they could formulate. So after that, I'm like, okay, I got to show this generation, the next generation, and previous generation. I got to show everyone that you can be right here from Marion, Indiana, and become anything you want to be. You know, even the mayor of a city. So I set on this task that, quite frankly, seemed impossible. Now looking back, I was crazy to even think I could do this. You know, I mean, really, to think that I could be, at the time I was 29. At the time, no, I was 28 when I decided. At the time, being 28 years old, young, African American, never been in political experience before in my life, never ran for anything in my life, didn't have any political connections coming into this. Looking back now where I'm at, that was an absolute crazy thing, man. But that motivation from the kids and from my family, and ultimately, I believe God called me in to do it. That's what pushed me across the line.
And that's, you know, you've got to be one of the youngest mayors as well.
The second, so there was one younger than me in Marion. It was Tony Maidenberg. He was 20. He was 29, and I was 30 when I became mayor.
Yeah, and I can remember him.
Yeah.
Well, I really do appreciate you standing up and being the model for these kids, because I thought that as well. I thought, you know, I need to walk it like I talk it.
Yep.
And show the kids that I'm trying to influence, because the roles have reversed now. When I was a kid, I needed somebody like me, the person I am today. and I wanted to be that for somebody else.
Right.
And I thought, what other way to do it but step into the political arena?
Yeah, man.
And yeah, I like your vision. I especially like the message. So, with that being said, elected mayor, wide margin.
It was, man. I'm thankful for the people, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You had a good message. You know, your heart's in the right place. What does it mean to you? Even the history of it.
Man, like, and people ask me this all the time, man.
From your city, like,
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, when you're making history, I don't think you really realize it in the moment. You know what I mean? So I don't. Maybe it will never internalize while I'm in office, or maybe even in the next foreseeable future. But maybe one day I'll be able to look back, like, wow, that was a historical moment. I mean, like somebody said to me earlier today, like, this will be in like somebody's social studies book one day. You know what I mean? And I never really processed it on my own, because, you know, when you're in the moment, you're not doing it for this, like, self-gratification of making history. You're just doing it, you know?
Right.
So, like, I think back, like, we're in Black History Month now. I think back, like, when Martin Luther King was doing his stuff, he wasn't thinking, like, oh, man, I'm making history. He was just doing what was right in that moment. So, I mean, so to answer that question, I don't know if I've truly internalized what it really means. You know, I try to think about it, but there's so much happening in the moment, in the action of everything, that I haven't had the chance to really process what all it means to not only myself and my family, but the whole entire city and generations before me and after me. So.
and I almost wonder, Teddy, when he's going to find time to internalize that, because
Oh, man.
you probably hit the ground not running but sprinting.
Yeah, man, full throttle, man. And one of the things that I had got encouraged, somebody said, hey, you know, they try to get me to slow down all the time. I say, slow down, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So then I got on YouTube one day. I just started looking up people running marathons, especially in the Olympics. Man, them dudes are sprinting. What we think of as a sprint, they're sprinting the whole they're sprinting the whole
That
time.
many miles, like, now in the world.
Yeah, they run the 13, 20 some miles, or 20 some miles, or whatever it is, and they're what the average person would consider a sprint the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So I sent the video back to the person. I said, hey, you know, this is the kind of marathon I'm running. You know, so,
that.
this is the kind of marathon I'm running, man.
Well, but you know, just speaking of hitting the ground running, man, your first night, you were with the police department and fire department.
Yeah, man. I think
That's amazing.
I mean, those are two of the entities that hold our city together. So I wanted to come out and show them support, and mostly I wanted to learn from them and get their experience, man. So it was on New Year's Eve. I went out at 1:30, so technically New Year's Day, but New Year's Eve, and so it was a little bit, you know, it's a little bit crazy on those days. So man, there was we were on one side of town, and there was a fight and a drug bust on the other side. So we're racing down the bypass to get to the situation, and we get out. They get out. I'm sitting in the car. Just to be clear, I'm in the car. Get out, you know, and they wrestled the guy down, full of drugs. I mean, it was all kind of meth, heroin, etc. But one of the things that I realized, first of all, the police and fire both sacrifice so much, man, that I don't think unless you go out and experience it with them at least once, you don't really internalize how much they're going through. So after that situation, that experience, seeing the fight, seeing the drugs taken off the guy, seeing him try to swallow the what's the blue pill everyone's doing right now? The
Fentanyl.
See him try the fentanyl. Then they had to rush him to the hospital because he's in overdose protocol. Then the same officer he was just fighting had to stay with him to make sure he didn't die of overdose. And they had 6 hours and finished the overdose protocol. Then still taken to jail. It took me like 2 weeks to just mentally recover just from that one situation.
Sure.
And these men and women are doing this every day. So I'm like, man. So my appreciation from going out with them on that first day changed my life forever, man. So if I can do it all over again, I would do the same thing and go out with both police and fire. So I did that. Police from like 1 to like 4:30. Went home and went to sleep for a second. Went to the fire at 6. Literally, man, as soon as I sat down in the firehouse, all the alarms started going off and we shooting to a fire. I'm like, man, y'all are crazy, man. How do y'all do this every day? You guys have everything you want from me, you know. So yeah. But I would encourage everyone in any capacity that you can spend some time with your public safety, because the sacrifices that they're making are immeasurable.
Well, and that's like Conrad and I'll tell people all the time. So they're heroes. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
look up to those kind of people, not these superstar athletes.
Yep.
You know,
These
guys are putting their life on the line every day
man.
for not a whole lot of pay.
And they humble paychecks, man. They're out there keeping us safe, man.
You safe.
So after that experience I had, man, I'm like, first of all, I can never be a police officer or a fireman. But so those who do it, I appreciate you more than I can ever imagine.
Yeah. And that's and when you became mayor, you had to put a couple new people in place, correct?
Yeah, man.
You
So
mention them.
Yeah. So so as mayor, you have the liberty to appoint department heads. Well, really, you could change everybody you want to, but it's just advised to just stick with your department head.
Right.
So in my situation, we had a few people retired. So our city attorney, our chief of police, and our fire chief all retired. So those left vacancies.
Right.
So what I decided to do is I put together a committee that held interviews for, I think we had like between all three of those positions, like 12 candidates, and they put some time in, man, long hours, man, interviewing individual people, and then they recommended who they thought would be the best one, and then I vetted them. Did the final vetting. I selected. I think every single one they recommended is who I ended up selecting.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's pretty smart of you to like just get into it. Hey, I need a committee.
Yeah.
Vet these guys. Bring me your choice.
Yep.
And let's rock and roll.
Yeah, man. It also takes the pressure off of you, you know. Cause
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the mayor, you still make the final decision, but it feels better when you have support behind the decisions you make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Speaking of support,
Yeah.
you know, who headed up your campaign?
So, I had a full team, right? So my campaign chair was Keenan Davis.
That's a former guest on here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My two campaign I can't even remember what they're called now. They have to forgive me. My two campaign managers were Dr. Jada Montero and Kathy Witherspoon.
Okay.
And then I had a treasurer, Candy Akers, and I had a fundraise management team of two people. The Hoaxman, Dr. Jeanette Hoaxman, and Scott Hoaxman. Then I had I don't want to forget anybody since I started naming people now. I had some advisors. Tim Meckley was on the team. I had event coordinators. I mean, all together, man, I probably had 10 people that constantly met to pull things off. Then I had the campaign consultant that came in out of the Carmel area to give, like, when you see my commercials or emails or text messages, that's who that was through.
Because I'll tell you right now, your social media was slapping, bro.
Yeah, right on.
It was awesome.
And I hired a student from Indiana Western who ran that.
Oh, man.
That's
Because
cool.
I was like,
Yeah.
Teddy, look at this guy's TikTok.
Yeah.
Man, he looks oh my gosh, he looks like he's running for the governorship. He's not running for mayor. He's running for governor.
That's funny, man. Yeah. And so shout out to them. So the people who recorded my videos was Aerial Imagery, well, formerly known as Aerial Imagery. I think they go by Media Outfitters now. His name is Rob Bugar, and then another company out of Indianapolis shot one of my commercials, and then I had another company out of South Carolina who shot another one of my commercials. But the majority of my video content you've seen was done by Robert Bugar with Media Outfit.
Wow.
Do you think that played now? Because me and my better half, we've been anticipating this.
Yeah.
This whole. She's like, "Are you prepared? Are you ready for it?"
Yeah.
I was like, "He's just a person, just like me."
That's
And I said, "Now he is mayor, so yeah. Like I'm psyched for it. I'm ready to go." She's like, "How big a part do you think his social media played in him getting elected? Because of his him being younger, and this is now the voters that are going to be voting from the time they're 30 until And I was like, you know what, you're right. This is going to be how people campaign now.
Yeah, social media, man. It's like, I come up, so in my era, so I'm 30 years old, so I remember when I was too young for MySpace when it first hit, but I got into it when I was in like middle school. So I remember life a little bit before social media, but the majority of my teenage years where people were transitioning heavy into social media. So people my age, like, that's what we remember and know. But now you got to remember people 18 to 25, all they know is social media.
Right.
So, so that's all. That's their whole life, right? So what you're correct in the analysis that from now on, people's campaigns will have to be social media driven heavy. So I think that we put together like a well-rounded campaign. So I put super heavy on social media, but I also did some of the old school stuff, like we knocked on doors.
Right.
We sent out mailers. I was showing up to events. I'm trying to think another old school thing that we did: newspaper articles, radio. So I still did all of the traditional stuff because there's still a good majority base that's what they know.
Yeah.
But over the next 5, 10, 15 years, that's going to phase out. Right. And it'll be heavy social media.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's-
All social media, essentially. Yeah.
It's strange when you talk about MySpace because I do remember that. I'm 46.
Okay.
And I remember how important it was to, like, I was like, oh, I got to start a MySpace page. and now I haven't even looked at MySpace page. And oh man, now I kind of want to, just to see where I was at that time.
I don't even know if they still have. They might have put out of business, man. I have to check it out, man.
I have no idea. But see, now my daughter, I'm like, hey, friend requests me on Facebook. She's like, Dad, Facebook's for old people.
Yeah.
I'm like, old people? What? Facebook's for old people?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was like,
You're on TikTok now, right?
yeah. But I've been on TikTok.
Yeah,
and
man.
That gets addictive, though.
It's very much addictive.
You find yourself just scrolling.
Yep.
Like you go down a rabbit hole of watching.
And then what I figured out now, man, so if I get on TikTok, it's hard. It's hard for me to even watch movies because I want all my information in like 15 to 30 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
You want that content condensed.
Yep.
Listen, man, I don't know about you, and I don't want to put you on anything, but I catch myself going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
There's this veterinarian, and he shoes cows.
Yeah.
And he's like, cows.
I seen the horses one get.
The festering, like the cow stepped
Yep.
on a nail, and I just find myself just watching that.
Yeah, man.
Listen, I've never been around a cow.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting.
Yeah, man.
What are your hopes and expectations and aspirations for the city of Marion?
Man, I want to retain.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I want to retain the people in the town we have.
Yeah.
And I also want to recruit more. So retainment and recruitment is my focus, right? So I think that a lot of time, there's a whole bunch of large and smaller projects that go into this, but the overall umbrella is, man, how do I grow the city, right? I think we grow the city by retaining the people and the talent we have, and then also recruiting more people in. But I think it first starts with retaining the talent that we have, because sometimes we get so focused on outside, trying to bring people in, who can we get to move here, who new can we get, then we forget that, like, the next generation of talent is, like, it's already here.
Right.
What's happening is we're losing them to other people. So how do we how do we focus on keeping them here? That's my focus, man.
So, life-changing diversity class and series.
Yeah. So the Indiana Republican Party has a diversity series where they bring, you apply for it, but they bring Republicans all across the state from diverse backgrounds, whether it's ethnic or whether it's what's some other diversity they use? Women, ethnic, sexual diversity. I don't want to say the wrong
Religion?
Religion, yeah.
Economic and all that. Yeah.
All the diversity stuff, right? Yeah. So, so I signed up for that class last year, and the connections, man, that I was able to make from that was incredible, man. Like, because they took you in front of. We spent a day at the State House. We spent a day at the racetrack with. I'm not a racer, but the guy that we got to spend the day with, his name is Paul Unser. Just all day.
Really?
We cooked it with him all day, man. Like in his suite at the 500.
Wow.
We went to different law firms. We went to everything that you want to do politically. They put you in front of all the connections. Now I was the only one in the class at that time actually running for something, so it was helping me in real time.
Right.
Everyone else, it was preparing for what they might want to do in the future.
Okay.
So yeah, man, it really helped me out.
Awesome. So you step into office, your first week, I've got to know, man. I'm sure that you probably got a ton of emails, calls, text messages, anonymous letters. I'm sure that you probably got a ton of stuff, because there for a minute It was so trending in Marion, the dam.
Oh man,
The dam.
And they I didn't tear the dam out. This was
Yeah, I know you weren't out there in waders smacking them with a sledgehammer.
It was a decision by the previous administration. So the dam was torn out. The election was on November 7th, and the dam was torn out November 8th. So I mean, there's that. You know, so the dam got torn out one day after the election, and then so after I won, people, because I mean, I realized this as I've spent more time. Like, people don't really understand how local government works.
No, they don't.
So they saw that I won mayor, and they saw that the dam was torn out the next day, so they thought I did it. You know, so they just stopped me like,
I've never seen government move that fast.
yeah, right.
There's no way.
Not at all, man.
Hadn't even taken office yet.
Yeah, hadn't taken office yet. So they're like, yo, why'd you tear the dam down? All this kind of stuff. So I caught a lot of heat for that, even though it wasn't my responsibility and I didn't do it. But on the positive side, due to the different rains and the snowfall, the water start flowing again, you know. Yeah. So I'm hoping that over the time span that the engineers predicted, which was 2 years, that it will be at a constant stream and flowing, and that we'll be able to do different projects to beautify that area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there was lack of information to the public of why things were done to the dam.
So it was my understanding that I can't remember the name of the system, what they call it, the gate or whatever they call it, maybe the levee. It was broken, right? And in order to fix it, it was like anywhere between like $500 to $1 million to get it back operational. So the option was from the state is you either fix your dam or tear it out. And to tear it out, I think we spent like $300 and some odd thousand to tear it out. And so the state had I don't know what the timeline length of the mandate was. Either you fix what you have for that $500,000 to $1 million, or we're going to come and make you tear it out and not provide any assistance. Because with that $300 and some odd thousand we spent to tear it out, the state provided us additional assistance, so it was really more expensive than that.
Right.
So they put us in a hard place where it was like, hey, you either going to fix this or tear it out. We'll help you tear it out financially, and we're not going to help you fix it.
Yeah.
So that administration decided to tear it out.
So I'm guessing, because I do kind of understand a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, had they have waited and the state not have helped, and they tore it out, that cost would have been passed on.
Yes.
To the taxpayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how much that is, because I mean, I guess I probably can go back and.
Yeah, but any raising taxes, they're going to be.
Yes, then they'd be upset, right? So, I mean, who knows if I was in that situation, what trigger I would have pulled or what I would have decided to do. But, I mean, it is what's done now. You know, somebody asked me, can I put it back? No, it's over. You know, it's over.
Yeah, we were driving around North Marion yesterday or the day before, and we drove over the bridge by the Matter Park and took a look over, and I was just like, wow. Yeah. I grew up, like, I remember going there with some friends and fishing.
Yeah, man, it's gone now, man.
Yeah.
It's really gone. I mean, and then just like all else, so people who are 10 years old now won't even remember there was a dam.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, right.
So it's one of those things that, and this is another thing I find out about Marion. We get very attached to things, and it's hard for us to let go. Like when I was campaigning, people were asking me, and they were genuine. They weren't being funny. They were genuine. They're like, hey man, we should bring RCA back to the city. And I'm just like, and at first my initial response was like, man, what? That was 20 years ago, man. Like, they're not coming back. That's never coming back. It's over. But then as I really started analyzing where that's coming from, they were associating that with a time in Marion where there was prosperity and things were going well.
Yep.
So they're thinking, man, we want that back again. But they're not able to process. It's like this traumatic response, right? It's like, we want this back again, so bring this back. So people get attached to things really easily, man. So
they remember a better time.
Yes, they remember a better time, or even just a different time, you know. Because now if I hear the stories about RCA, like people weren't working anyway. They were like clocking in and going to Good Time Charlie's, and so was it better or just a different time?
That was that was one of my first adult out of high school jobs.
Okay,
I worked supplemental there for a couple years and then got full time.
So you could probably tell me if that's true or not.
Well, I mean, it was a union, so yeah. I mean,
I worked there too.
I didn't go over a good time, Charles, but I remember like it was hour on, hour off. But some of that was heavy lifting.
Yeah,
Right.
And nobody ever tells you, because they always like to say, "Man, those were the good old days." But you don't know when you're in the good old days.
That's true, man. You never know.
So
And Marion's not the only city that
took a hit
went
like
through
that,
like
yeah.
that. I mean,
but that's
look
not to
at the
say
steel
Marion
industry.
can't bounce back, right?
Well,
Yeah,
and
man.
that's
The way
what the mayor's gonna
the
work
way
on, I'm
that
sure.
it'll bounce back, it may not ever look the same.
right.
So we may not never be the same. The industry that we had, that version of it is not coming back, right? So like big industry still exists, but not in the version that we're used to. So like even myself, so I was looking at that, just kind of trying to check out history, and at that time we had like 7 factories, man, that had like RCA had like 4,000 people, and Dana had thousands of people. Was when
Yeah,
Paul
Danny,
Foster,
SCM, Foster Forbes.
so
yeah,
so now I'm thinking, okay, so now they all left, but if you lose one of them, that's a big blow. So now,
Yes.
so let's think about that. Add them all together, that's probably 8,000 employees. So now, what's it look like now for us to try to recruit 100 different businesses that have 80 employees? And so now you lose one of them, you still understand it and feel it, but it doesn't feel the same as losing one for 4,000 people.
Right.
So now we got to diversify how much industry we have. So now there's a company who reached out to me who was interested in moving to the new the old Two Locks Plastic spot. Yeah, and they got 12 employees. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? So now if I can get 20 of you guys, now we got 240 people working. So I think people in Marion, we're so used to one employer carrying thousands of people that we got to have that same excitement for that one employer employing 10 to 20 people, because it's still jobs, it's still making the city grow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I want to jump back even further though. Your family history,
Yeah,
the Weaver settlement.
yeah, man.
Man,
Yep.
this goes way back.
Yeah, man. And so I got a lot of cousins, man.
Yep,
a lot of
yep.
cousins.
A lot?
Oh man, more than
You want to put a number on it?
dude. I would.
Yeah.
If I was just to guess, man, the ones that I'm aware of I'm in the hundreds.
Oh,
that I'm actually aware of.
Yeah.
And there's some I don't even know, man. So
Yep.
it's a big, humongous family, man, locally, and around the United States, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I learn more and more about the history every day that I didn't know. But one thing that stood out to me as a story was, one point in time, the family had to settle in that space. For those who don't know, I think it's out on 37 or 9 in that direction. Settle in that space because they weren't allowed to come into Marion, only in the daytime. So now to think that one of their descendants is now the leader of that city that they were once not allowed to be in is pretty crazy, man.
That is.
Yeah.
That's got to mean something, man, to you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, yeah. Again, I don't get to internalize it all the way all the time, but now saying it out loud as in this conversation, it's like, wow.
Yeah, because like the dirt that you're walking on,
Yeah.
the concrete, the roads, those weren't places they were allowed.
Right,
Now,
yeah.
and now you're in charge of
It's crazy, man. It's
helping guide this city
man.
back to prominence.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a blessing, man. And every single day I realize that it's a privilege to be able to serve, man. Because people could have not chosen me, God could have not chosen me, but for this time, man, I'm super excited I'm in the position that I am.
But just like you've said it before, depart the past, move toward the future.
Yeah, man. We got to understand our past so we know where we came from, but we can't be bound by it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
yeah, you can't let it hold you back.
Right.
And I can see that you're not.
Yeah.
So when you go home, and I know that you're a girl dad, right?
Oh, man.
Me too, dude. I got 3. Listen, I never win. when we're trying to decide where to go eat,
Yeah,
I don't
man.
win. I've just settled. I let them pick. Would you like a water or anything?
Oh, no, I'm good, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do to unwind and recharge.
Man, as soon as I walk in the door, my 1.5-year-old, who's just now starting to get her words together, says, "It's daddy, daddy, daddy." So it's just like the instant. Literally, as soon as I walk through the front door, that's what it is. So that's my unwind right there, man. It's just being around my wife and my 2 girls, and it's really, I'm not gonna call it a second job, but it's like as soon as you finish up dealing with all the stuff in the day, you got to come home and like, now it's time to be dad, man. Because they don't care. They don't care about what new business, what employee problems we had, what went on. They can care less, right? They just want dad, So I gotta be able to flip that switch, man, and become the dad that they're superhero, if you will.
Yep.
Oh, listen, you have a small window.
Yeah.
I have a freshman in college. I've got one in middle school, and my youngest will be 1 in March.
Wow.
Yeah. I miss those days because now my oldest, I'm not cool anymore. She used to look at me like I was Superman.
Yeah.
Not cool anymore. Mm-hmm. So when I say things like that slaps, bro.
Oh, she.
Or my middle child. If I listen to rap music too loud.
Yeah.
Or if I'm singing in the car to some emo song.
Yeah.
Embarrassed.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, embarrassed. I'm like, dude, you watch. This is gonna happen to you. Yeah, it's gonna happen to you too. But my, she's getting ready to be 1. Mm-hmm. Man, I was like, so blessed. Feel so blessed.
Yeah.
To have that one more time.
Yeah.
One more. This is it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
One more time.
I try to spend. I'm usually at home by bedtime, at least all the time, man, to be able to at least spend that time with them. Because I'm always busy running through all the times, and my daughter's in dance class, so I try to attend the recitals. I try to be there as present as much as I can. Because really, what's all this matter, man? If I save the city and accomplish everything and lose my family, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Exactly.
So I got to remember to always put them first, and I try to make that a priority in my life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're not just, working to make this Marion a better city for everybody else, but your children also.
for my kids, man.
And you setting an example. Hopefully, out of that, you have a couple seeds that sprout from the Boys and Girls Club that say, what Coach did, I want to do.
Yep.
That's
the hope, man.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, when you think about it, you got to sit down, man, and be like, man.
Yeah, I need to sit down. You're probably right.
Take the weekend. Take the weekend and throw a steak on the grill and just
chill.
Yeah, just chill.
Hey, man.
This is my moment.
Yeah.
Put on some Post Malone. Congratulations. And just,
You're right, man. And speaking of steak on the grill, man, it's been so nice here, man. It might be time to throw some steaks on the grill.
I'm wearing shorts behind here, man.
It's nice, man.
That's what the makers on TV do. They just wear a sport coat and
then put some.
Yeah, they got shorts on.
Some basketball shorts.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I'm a shorts guy.
Yeah.
So as soon as if I think I can't, if I can't see my breath, shorts.
That's funny, man.
See, but that's also interesting because like your exposure in different ventures.
Mm-hmm.
That's equipped you and made you even more knowledgeable.
Yeah, I mean,
people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Learn as much as you can.
Yeah, so I graduated with a music degree, man. This was not in my. I'm in for music, man. I was a worship leader at a church. I started my 2 businesses. I ran the Boys and Girls Club. I ran another organization called locally Youth for Christ for McCullough and Justice, and then become a mayor. And all these things stacked up to prepare me for this position.
Right.
Some people just get right into politics and it was cool, you know what I mean? But I was able to bring like a diverse thought to this area, and then I think it really helped me out.
That's amazing. That's because the scooters.
Yeah.
Of course, you started that, and then tell me about your event center. I guess I really didn't realize that you had that. And where is this downtown?
Yeah, downtown Marion, 123 East 3rd Street. So I had started that in 2021, which would have been, I think, August 2021, and I started it with a partner at the time, and I was headed back from Disney World with my wife and my daughter, one daughter at the time, and I was listening to the podcast, and somebody had brought up that, event centers were a way to, make money, and I thought, man, Marion doesn't have one downtown, so I called up one of my friends, and we went on that venture and started one, and opened it downtown Marion. Now I own it by myself, but it's man, it's fun, man, because you get to you're providing services for people.
Yeah.
It's a challenging business because, like with the scooters, if I'm not performing the best at that moment, I just move them to a different location, or the event center is stuck in that spot. So you gotta advertise it. And,
True.
But yeah, it's cool, man. I enjoy doing it.
So as a businessman, you're heavily into analytics, right?
All day, man.
All day, every day?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the market, and you're probably looking at market segmentation and trying to decide who your target demographic is.
Yeah.
Did you know when you got those scooters that it was just going to explode like that? Because during the summertime,
Yeah.
I see everybody on.
So it is. I had no idea. So when I started that business out of just pure, so me and my wife were on our 1 year anniversary in Nashville, and we were staying in like the Vanderbilt area, and we needed to get down to like Broadway where all the action was. And I sweat a lot. So Nashville heat, man, I start walking, and I'm just like drenched in like 2 minutes, So I seen somebody fly past me on a scooter. This was 2018, so I asked them, like, man, how are you doing that, man? And they said, download the app. I'm like, man, what app? So we walked somewhere and finally found somebody to stop one. The company was Bird, so we downloaded the app and we rode all night, man. I had so much fun with me and my wife there. I'm like, man, how cool would it be to start something like that in small town Indiana? At that time, man, I did no research. I did no market study. I did none of the stuff that I now know I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I got to get that experience that I had to other people. So I found the research I did do is what company, what apps, all that kind of stuff. So I stumbled across a company, ordered some scooters, started with 6, and then started in Marion, man. Then the rest was history. So now our operations are. So now I know what my target demographic is now since I've been in this is that 17 to 20, 25, they ride nonstop, right? So I was able to get a deal with Ball State. So I moved majority of my operations to Ball State's campus, and that's where we function out of.
Wow.
Yep. So, yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, man. So
that is awesome.
It was a crazy situation, man. Because then when I was trying to start it, like nobody believed in it, man. It's like one of those, oh man, nobody's gonna ride a toy around. Nobody thought it would work, man. So now see that here we are. That was 2000. This is about to be the 5th season, man. So I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
You know what? You're always gonna have those naysayers, and sometimes your own worst enemy is yourself. Because when we started this, I was like, I just blurted it out, and then I thought to myself, ain't nobody gonna listen to me flap my lips,
right?
And then sure enough, Teddy was right. Mm-hmm. Good job, Teddy.
Hey, man.
We didn't do a market study either.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to go for it, man.
Yeah,
because you talk to like business professionals, or even now, if I was giving somebody advice, I probably would tell them to do a study, you want to put a business plan together and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what I did. I just went for it, man, and then it ended up working out. So
Michael Jordan's right. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
You got to shoot,
man. That's I was always taught that.
Yeah.
Don't live with regrets.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes
some people,
you got to risk it.
Yeah, man. Some people get stuck in that phase of like what I like to call analysis paralysis, where they analyze everything and then just don't do anything. They're just stuck, know. So I think you just go for it, man. I heard somebody say I think I was watching an interview or a podcast that said that 95% of the decisions you make are like reversible. Like you can like walk in, like, oh, that didn't work. Do something else. Try again. Yep. It's only 5% that like. You make that decision and it's final. So
let's be the
but those 95%, the other 95%, just go for it, man. Just keep going. Yep. You can reverse it, but it's that 5% you got to slow down and really think about.
And sometimes you got to learn from failure.
Yeah, man.
You're knocked down, get back up.
It's not how many times you get knocked down.
Yeah, man.
Because you can tell right now the mayor, he's a visionary, and that's awesome.
You got to go for things, man. So. It came out last night at City Council, so there's some land right next to TJ Maxx and Marion. It's just open, man. I'm like, I just woke up one night. Man, what does the city of Marion own that? And just tried to get some people to develop there. So I was like, man, I contacted the owners and just go for it. And worst thing that can happen is they say no or something.
Exactly. That's true.
I've been told no before too.
Yeah.
Right.
That's.
So do you have a big idea for Marion? I know you don't want to let cats out of the bag.
I mean, I can say what I can. We got a few, man. I can give you some areas, man. There's been a few people that have contacted me about the 6918 exit right there. I'm looking to bring some businesses. There's been, I've talked to a few developers about our riverfront area, about bringing something down there. And I've talked to some people about developing in the space that I was just talking about, the land next to TJ Maxx area. So those are kind of my three hot spots. So 6918, downtown, and south are the kind of areas I'm thinking about. And then as far as Central Marion, man, we got so much gyms down there that just needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Right. The streets need to be cleaned up. The sidewalks need to be fixed. The street signs. I mean, I make a big deal about this all the time, man. But you don't know how raggedy you look when your street signs are falling apart. Like I driving over here, this street signs over here was fine.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like you look raggedy, man, without taking care of small things, man. I think that you have to build a foundation, and when you show that you can take care and be faithful with small things, and more things, and more blessings will roll in.
Well, that's kind of like, downtown Marion. It's booming anymore.
Yeah,
with
man.
a lot of the small businesses
things are
down
going,
there.
man.
I mean, there's some nice.
It's
some
almost
nice
like
restaurants and stuff down there.
it's like a village down there. You
Yep.
you can go to. Isn't there an axe throwing?
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
And then you can go get
Point.
tacos.
Yeah, 5 Point axe throwing.
Yeah.
You can get barbecue. You can get ice
yeah.
cream, coffee. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Everything.
You can go to an event. You can host an event downtown.
There you go. That's
So you can also go to jail. So we give you everything you want, right?
Well,
Then you go out south and Indiana Wesleyan. That's just a beautiful campus.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Yep.
man.
yeah.
And they've been, they're doing a lot better now too, man. So I'm excited for them. I've met with the president this week, and they have some exciting things coming down the docket that I'm super excited to be a part of. So
That is
And I
so
tell people all
cool,
the
man.
time. I said, if you want to go watch some really good athletic events at a low cost,
Yeah.
right there,
Go
man.
out there, man.
Some high talent now. I mean,
It
football
is.
and basketball.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
boys and girls
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
The boys and girls basketball team, man.
Yeah.
the women's volleyball was national
Yeah.
champions.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So some good things happening out there. It's just, I mean, there's good things happening all over Marion. We have to do a better job of telling the story.
Yeah.
Like something negative happens in Marion, like
that's
there's-
all over.
Oh man, like there's some negative stuff that went down yesterday on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
You probably seen it. I ain't even gonna say what it is. You know what I mean? But that got like 2,000 shares,
I
man.
know.
But now something good happens, and nobody talks about it. You know, so it's a weird thing, man.
That's what I was gonna say. Bad news makes the news before it gets.
Yeah,
to us,
man.
guys.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
I think it's the human condition. We just like
It's
to-
unfortunate, man. Like
Yeah.
the mess. But yes.
Yeah. I've been guilty of it, man.
Yeah.
And, if I see two people arguing on Facebook, I break out the popcorn. I start reading the comments, laughing, and honey, look at. I don't even know who this guy is, but I'm like, look at this guy.
Right. Yeah, man.
This is
So-
funny. But
I read something today and I wrote it down because and this could go for you because it says, as leaders, we need to let individuals flourish where they are best at
Yeah.
and what they love to do.
That's true, man.
That kind of.
Yep, and encourage
I thought
them.
of you
Like,
when I
encourage them to
read
be
that.
successful with what they're doing, man. So as a mayor, like, obviously coming into this, I don't have there was no job description or something. Like, I just walk in
right.
and nobody tell me where to sit, who to call, what to do. I could just go. True, after you get elected, you can really just stay at home and just sleep all day. What's somebody gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're stuck with whoever you choose for 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
I was trying to summarize what the job is for me. I kind of put it in these three things. So it's you are a visionary, connector, and a cheerleader, right? So you set a vision, you connect the right people around each and everything to make things happen, and then you push people and cheerlead them and make sure that things
Wow.
get done.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
That
Yeah, because good leaders put other good leaders in positions to
Yeah.
be successful. Would you assess the mayor as being a really good coach who puts the right personnel
Yeah.
in position according to what they're successful at,
Yep.
for them to shine
Yep.
and make the whole team just unstoppable?
Yeah, man, that's exactly what it's like, man. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Or I would say the mayor is the GM. So we're doing sports. The mayor's the GM.
Okay.
The coaches I pick are my department heads.
Right.
Okay.
And then they go around like that. So yeah, man, it's the less I gotta be careful how I say. The less that you see the mayor doing something, and the more you see this team being successful, that's when you know we're winning, right?
Yeah.
So you got to build that culture where the team is being successful.
I totally get that. You know, eventually on down the road, you're gonna have to have some tough talks.
What's that?
Yeah, somebody's not gonna be picking up their job. Somebody's not.
Every day, man. There's no
every
tough,
day?
I mean, so some things that surprise me about the job. I get sued every day for something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get sued every day. There's always
For real?
Yeah, literally, man. I mean, even though so every time somebody sues Marion, is my name. I'm the first on the ticket. They
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? So.
Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that, man. So, so I get sued all the time, man. And tough talks, I mean, like, you'll be surprised how many, like, daily tough decisions the mayors have to make. And even city for the size of Marion, you know, we got 28,000 people. Yeah. There's some daily tough decisions that you got to say yes or no to. That have to become just like second nature. Because whether it's employee issues, whether it's street issues, whether it's contract issues, you know, whether it's there's a lot of things like that, man. That's where it falls back up to the mayor to say yes or no. Now there are some things that people think the mayor has power to do that I can't. You know what I mean?
Again, I'm pretty certain that I remember I had a government class in high school.
Yeah,
and I had a little bit of a gist of what our government officials can do. I never called anybody up and said, "Hey, Mayor, this pothole in front of my house, I've had enough of it. And it's filled the day." Because that's not how it works.
Dude, somebody called me this week, and they had a bad experience at Taco Bell South in Marion. And they called me and wanted me to discipline Taco Bell employee. And I just listened. I'm a nice fella, you know what I mean? I listened to what they said, but I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, America, I can't do that. That's not. I don't own Taco Bell.
I'm sorry they messed up your Gordita Crunch.
Yeah, man. Like, so it's just
they messed up mine too.
Somebody asked me to get their cousin off probation. You know what I mean? So it's this stuff that I mean. And again, at first it was making me upset. Like, man, why y'all? What's wrong with y'all? But then I just realized that people just don't know the function. So I got to do a better job, or leaders just have to do a better job of educating what the functionalities of the role is.
Yeah. So now that, you know, you've had time here, a short time, what would you like, what's your highs and lows since being in office?
Highs and lows, man. I think that one thing is, like, no matter, I hit the ground running, and we're doing a lot of successful things really quickly, and no matter what you do, man, people always complain. I think that was one of the things that I had to internalize, man, is that, you know, I could bring the world. I could have Elon Musk build a Tesla factory in the middle of Marion, and somebody still be like, "Oh, why did you do that? We hate that. We hate
lithium batteries."
Yeah, you know. So it's like, you had to be comfortable in who you are and the decisions you make, and not worry about what people are going to say. So that's I had a low on that for a moment, because I was so like I forgot what we did, man. It was something that had never been done before. It might have been the situation of we digitize all of our bills. So, like, currently, before I came into office, if you wanted to see, it would pay everything by checks, man. Like, all the bills in like a shoebox, not literally a shoebox, but like a all paper, everything paper. So we've been going through and digitizing things, and as soon as I put that out there, somebody's like, "Oh, why would you do that? That's a terrible idea." Or I say, we remodeling City Hall where that hadn't been done since '79.
Oh, wow.
And people are like, "Oh, why are you wasting money on that?" It's like, it's like, no matter what you do. Or we announced that, you know, I'm cleaning the city, so I call it Clean City Marion 2.0, and somebody say, "Oh, well, Marion's never going to be clean. It's always a dirty city. We can't be clean." It's like, you know, so at first it affected me, man, because I was reading the comments, man. I was listening to the naysayers, man, but then the more and more I realized, I talked to some other mayors and other leaders. Actually, Mayor Rock, who's been a great mentor for me through this process, he was like, "Man, no matter what you do, man, somebody's always going to complain." And usually, he said, it's usually only 5 to 10% of the people anyway. And he said other people who are supporting you are usually more silent. Just keep doing your thing, man. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that, you know, your relationship with with Mayor Rock.
Man, he's been great to me, man.
And
like
then Mayor Goins over here at Jonesboro, it's his first term now.
Yeah, man. So Mayor Rock has been great to both of us, but
Yeah.
I know specifically me, Mayor Rock. Every time I call him, text him, he's always there answering, man. We did an event together. I don't know if you've seen about the. We predicted that.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
Yeah, man. Because you know, obviously, mayors control the weather anyway. So we decided that. So the reason why it's nice outside is because we decided that. Hey, that thing. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Man.
You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to lull you into a bet when we play each other in school.
And so we did one. We did one for the basketball game.
Oh, did you?
And he lost, so he had to buy me. I forgot where he took me to, man. Where we at? Train Station Cafe in Marion, man. So I think our next bet is going to be for football season, probably. We'll see how that goes.
That's so cool, man. I can tell you're gonna make a difference. You're gonna.
Yep.
And you know what? You even just coming here to the garage said a lot to me and Ted, because I'm gonna be honest, because I don't want to say I know you, but like we've had an interaction before. I just didn't. I didn't know if we were going to go there. But when you said, I'll come there, I was like, man, that is cool.
Yeah, man, yeah.
We like that, and we hope, you had a good time.
It was a great time, man. And you guys had a great show and a great platform and a great setup, man. It's not a lot of people that have professional setups, man, so I was glad to be a part of people who take their craft seriously, man. So I love doing that.
I'll tell you right now, we were psyched.
Yeah, man.
We were psyched.
He was very excited. It's just...
We've had a guest on that knows you, Jordan Berry. Jordan's, man, she's always a fun.
She was actually in my wedding, man. So she's one of my wife's bridesmaids.
She's been on both seasons. That we've had.
And this year she brought her brother with her.
This year she brought her brother. But yeah, she's there's something about that kid. And I say kid, she's not.
Yeah.
But she's a kid to me. But she's, I don't know. She's very. She knows what she wants.
Yeah.
She knows she's going to be successful, and you can just tell nothing's going to stand in her way.
That's good, man. Yeah,
and I get that vibe from you.
Right on, man. I appreciate you.
So
that's
when you got the community at heart, I don't think nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you guys for having me on, man. It's a great show, great platform, and man, you have to get me back next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I do have to ask you one question.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here.
Okay.
If you could sit on a park bench with anybody, just have a conversation, who would it be?
Oh man, that's
don't say Teddy, because he's right here.
That's the hardest one, man. Parks big anybody have a conversation. I would probably choose. It's tough, man. I would have to go with. I'll probably go with Martin Luther King, man.
Yep.
And the reason why is because it's hard to find someone who's dealt with the burden of trailblazing in that magnitude, right? So, I mean, we talked about all the glories of all this kind of stuff, but there's still a lot of mental and a lot of stress and a lot of things that come with walking in the path that no one else has done before.
Yep.
So, and I think he did it on a mass scale, so I would love to hear just how he dealt with it mentally, how he dealt with his family, how he was able to internalize. Because all the hate I get, him was probably a million times worse.
Man.
You know what I mean? So how do you internalize it? You know what I mean? So obviously he didn't deal with social media of it, but it still was a lot worse. You know what I mean? So I would love to sit down and have a conversation with him specifically about his mental space when he was doing all what he was doing. Yep.
Yeah, because he was kind of fearless and
dude. Yeah, I mean, like they was threatening. Ain't nobody threatened to kill me yet, you know, or once, you know what I mean. But ain't nobody done it on like a consistent basis with real action behind it, you know. So
yeah.
Well, what jumped out to me right there is what you said. Talk to somebody about walking the path that nobody has before.
Yeah, yep.
That's
Teddy, that was a hard question.
That was sitting there tonight, man.
I was thinking to myself who it'd be.
Yep, that was the most challenging one.
Man, that was. Thank you so much for taking the time.
man. We appreciate
Again, we greatly appreciate you, and we'll be cheering you on and watching what you do with Marion, and you're coming back, right?
I'm gonna be back, man.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
I appreciate you guys. Man.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks everybody. Check us out this Friday.
That was fun, man.